Hello. Okay, so out in a beautiful spot, of course. I hope you can see everything. Uh, Last time we were talking about whether computers have minds, yeah? And one of the main questions was, well, how do you define a mind? That was like the main thing. Because that, of course, depends on whether a computer has one. Um, and I got to talking about this thing called the all mind, and that was a question. What is the all mind, or what is an all mind, or what is the all mind? And basically, the answer is that it is all of the parts of the psychology that all beings have the same, that are the same. So, like seeing different animals and different plants see, quote unquote, in a different way, but it's still the idea of seeing. You understand? So, though that's the things that make up the all mind, are those things. We'll talk about it in a few minutes after a little introduction from my owner harmonica. There you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Honer. So, what is the all mind? Yeah, and why is it important? No, but let's just stick with the all mind. So the all mind is all those things that all minds have the same. Yeah, and you can immediately think of a few. One thing that I will take as a base is that all minds have a goal. So they're all trying to do something, whether that's things that are alive. Minds are alive. Things that are alive generally have minds, we would argue, or I would argue. And so they have a goal. Yeah, even if that goal is to keep breathing, or to eat something, or to drink something, or anything, they have a goal. And what does having a goal imply? And this is also part of this is where I think we find the all mind, is in this having a goal. Yeah. So in order to have a goal, this is a deductive. This is kind of a deductive way to think about it, and maybe I'll cover that in the next video. It's a good idea, but the idea is that having a goal implies certain things, and those things include a memory, for instance, because you have to keep the goal in mind, right? I mean, there needs to be some way to, across time or through time, keep that goal in mind, yeah? And what another thing is like evaluation, right? So a value, something that's valued, something that's wanted, is a part of having a goal. And so there has to be some sort of valuation mechanism in the being. And then when you start talking about things like valuation mechanisms, you see again memory, but you have to see something like a differentiation, right? So my favorite example is the tiger and the lion, that little striped animal that's in the distance. I don't know if it's a tiger or a lion, and it matters a lot that I do understand whether it's a tiger or a lion, because one I'm getting eaten and the other one I get to eat, basically. So that really, sensation and perception and valuation, right? So we have to some sort of ability to understand, basically, to apply knowledge, memory, knowledge. So now we see knowledge coming in, things that are in the all mind. All minds have some sort of knowledge, I would argue, but you might not. But even you can think about bacteria. Bacteria understand, even a virus understands whether it can reproduce now or not. So it must be able to sense the environment in some way that allows it to do that. So what do we have so far? We have memory, we have knowledge, we have perception, we have sensation. I mean, you have to, so sensation and perception are different things, of course. Maybe that's another video, but sensation, perception, valuation. These are things that I'm going to argue, and I think that we can talk about this in the comments below if you want. I'm going to argue that every mind has these things, whether it's a dog or a human or even a single cell. I will argue with you if you want, down below or anywhere. Yeah. So that is kind of what the all mind is. The key about the all mind is that it gives us like the basic functions, yeah? And thinking in this way, it gets rid of the humanness of psychology, I would say, because that's a big problem. Probably another video. But the all mind, it allows us to think more generally. And the idea is that we instantiate. So humans are one instantiation of the all mind, and yeah, by looking at the similarities, we can understand. My favorite example is about chemistry. So it's like understanding that all atoms are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Instead of looking at, so before the table of chemistry, table of atoms, table of chemicals, they were looking at individual atoms, much like psychology is today, and how does this individual atom interact with this individual environment? Yeah, that's like what humans are doing. It wasn't until they understood all atoms are made up of these core components, that's why the all mind is so important, that they started to understand the differences, like, oh, oxygen atom has this many, 8 protons and neutrons and electrons, this, and carbon has 9, or whatever it is, and that's when chemistry took off. And I think that's when psychology will take off, is when we understand, okay, these are the cores, and then we can build from there. Like, okay, humans are distinct from that core by these certain things, and within humans, different groups can think about these distinct things. This sort of an approach, I think, is very productive, going to be very productive, and I hope you come along for the ride. I'm going to explain it in this series of videos. I'm learning it myself as it comes. I'm going to write a book. I'm writing a book. You can ask for it if you want. That would be helpful. But yeah, I think this is what psychology needs, and I hope we do it. All right, I think I'm running out of time. See you guys later. Huh? I hope to. See you guys later. And let me know what you guys think down below. And give me a like and a comment. That would be very helpful as well. Just motivation, and maybe I can even make some money off these things someday in the future, But, all right. See you guys, huh?